Hey everybody, Mega Roller 31 back here for FSI DFS. Going to be breaking down the 7-game slate for Monday, August 2nd. Yeah, we're already in August, so still a little bit more summer to go. Still a couple more months of baseball. Trade deadlines behind us. So before we get to these September call-offs, maybe we'll have like a month of normalcy. But as I opened up today's slate and I looked at these pitchers, I'm like, who on earth are these guys? And I guess I missed Andrew Heaney went to the Yankees too. So honestly, pitching wise, there's very few cash options. There's some options that you can play in GPP, and even for offensively, there's only a couple teams that really jump out. So let's go game by game and try to put it all together. First game we have is the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. Andrew Heaney again is pitching for the Yankees. Uh, Solid pitcher, but does give up some hard contact. But in context of the slate, I think he's one of the probably top 3 pitchers that we have to go with tonight. So I think definitely he's probably going to be my SP2 in most of my lineups. Lopez on the other side, really not interested in. Baltimore bats, again, Heaney has given up some hard contact. So if you are going to fade him, Hayes, Mountcastle, Mancini, Santander is free pretty much. A DK is only 2K. So I can see a Baltimore stack being contrarian if you want. Don't have a super high total, but you might pick up a home run or 2 there. But I said mostly I'm going to probably be playing Heaney and cash. Yankees, Rizzo, I think, is definitely a lock at 4-7. He's been super hot since he's gone here. Gallo, a little bit more expensive at 5-4. Another good matchup against Lopez, but any of the right-handed bats, I think the Yankees will be probably the most popular stack on the slate. With pitching, like I said, you can definitely make it work. Next game, we have the Philadelphia Phillies and the Washington Nationals. You have Ranger Suarez. Ranger Suarez has been in the bullpen. They are trying to get him stretched out to become a starter. I do not see him going over 2 or 3 innings, even though this lefty-lefty matchup neutralizes Juan Soto and Bell and Yadiel Hernandez, who has had a decent start to since the trade deadline, and he's been starting there. He's been a double machine. He's had like a double in the last 3 games. His DK points have been 7, 7, and 15. So he's a great punt outfielder, even though it's a lefty-lefty matchup. I think that's where it's only going to be maybe face him once, maybe twice. So I think definitely, he's in play for a cheap bat. Phillies bats, they put up 15 yesterday. Josiah Gray, I think he was he came over from the Dodgers in the Suarez trade, and he's only pitched about 4 innings. So again, you're only looking at 12 DK points for him for 7-6. I'm not super interested there. I think there's better, more established pitchers on the slate. And this Phillies offense, like I said, put up 15 runs yesterday. They are still banged up also with Hoskins still out of the lineup. And we'll have to see who else. Segura's is coming back from a minor knee thing. Maybe some guys get some rest. They have Travis Janikowski batting second in this lineup, but still that doesn't make me feel confident enough to put Josiah Gray out there. Phillies, I think they're my top GPP stack. I think if you look at the lefties here, Harper, Miller, I'm fine playing Segura. He just has been a consistent hitter this year. If you want to throw, we'll just have to see who's down. If any of these guys down in the bottom lineup, Gregorius, I know he's a lefty. I mean, he's been okay, but he just actually really hasn't. He's had 0 DK points, 2 DK points, 0 DK points, 2 DK points, 0 DK points, 6 DK points. So I'd avoid Gregorius until I see something from him. I'd rather probably play Jankowski at 2-7. His box score is, 3 DK points, and then he went 4 straight games without a hit, and then he had like a 15 and a 6. So he's been pretty inconsistent also, but he's cheap if he works in your stack. get you other things, that's fine. Washington bats, maybe some one-offs, not really interested. Probably the only guy I would take is Yadiel Hernandez. Like I said, he's been a doubles machine the last 3 games. Been doing well there, has some speed, so he's intriguing at minimum price. Seattle Mariners at the Tampa Bay Rays. Almost said Buccaneers. Getting football season. So the Hall of Fame games coming up here. Getting ready for that season, but we got more baseball, so let's keep pushing forward here. Chris Flexon and Michael Wacha. I think both pitchers you make a case for. Flexon isn't a high strikeout guy, but Tampa Bay is, and they do struggle sometimes against right-handed pitching. So I think Flexon's been hit or miss this year. And he's been missed the last couple of ones. He's actually had negative DK points, but he's been up against decent offenses against Houston and Oakland. Before that, he had a couple games in the 20s. Let's see, he hasn't faced Tampa Bay this year. So I don't know. He's never surprising if he goes out and has a good game, or then sometimes it doesn't surprise you if he gets hit. So I think there's a couple better guys in this price range, but he's playable if you want to try him in a GPP. Try to get some of the K upside, even though he's not a high K pitcher with Tampa Bay striking out. Michael Wacha on the other side against the Seattle team, same thing. He's had put together a couple good games recently, actually. He went out against the Yankees and had a 9 strikeout affair, but before that, we're talking 2, 5, 6, 5. So I might get about 5 strikeouts. Seattle might help that a little bit, but I kind of like some of these Seattle bats. And just remember, he's a reverse splits pitcher. So I take Kyle Seager anyways, being a lefty. He seems to be able to hit anybody this season. But hanging France, Abraham Toro is one of my favorite plugins for like second base today if I can't find somebody else in the stack. It's just he's been very solid since he got traded from Houston. And I love that he's found an everyday spot here, and just looking at his numbers, a little bit of off day yesterday, 3, but he's got a 6-game hitting streak, 15 DK points, 23 DK points, 15 DK points, 16 DK points, 16 DK points. And he had actually 4 straight days of home runs. So that was 2 days previous, but still he's shown some power. He's doing decent. So I think that he's somebody that I'm going to have in a lot of lineups if I have a second or third base open. As for the Tampa Bay bats, I think, they'd probably be my number 4 stack of the day against Flexon here, especially lefties. So Lau, Meadows, Choi, Leto, Franco, maybe he'll move up in the lineup a little bit. And if you want to throw Nelson Cruz in there or Randy in your stack, I'm fine with that, but I'd stick pretty much to the lefties for that one. Next game, you have New York Mets and the Miami Marlins. You have Tyler McGill, who's been a great young arm, kind of a breath of fresh air for the Mets with all their pitching injuries this year. I mean, he's not like Top Gun, but when he puts up 25 points against the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's been going 5 and 6 innings, so their bullpen's okay behind him. He's got the Marlins, who they traded away Marte. I mean, Jazz is back in the lineup here, and he started off the season hot, but they got rid of some other bats like Duvall went back to Atlanta, so not too much left here. It's a pitching ballpark. Really like him. He's going to be my top pitcher on the slate tonight at 9.6. Not too much, maybe a little bit of sticker shock when you look at him, but you know what? In the context of the slate, I think he's sufficiently priced, and I think definitely have no problem paying that for him. I think he'll be very popular here. So not really interested in the Miami bats. If you want to put $1 on them, if McGill is going to be the highest pitcher, then fine with that. And if they go off and McGill's chalk, then definitely will help you out there. The Mets, I really like this lineup, what they've done with the trade deadline, getting Baez there. Hopefully Nemo's healthy and back in. But, Smith, Conforto's moved down to the lineup. So they're a little bit down in my GPP stacks. Probably my third favorite GPP. Haven't really seen a total on here. Up against Jordan Halwell, or Holloway. He was came up in the A's organization. He had a couple good games, but most of them he was only in single-digit DK points. And looks like the max he's pitched recently has been 5 innings, but it's mostly been 2, 3. So it looks like they're kind of bringing him along slowly also. So definitely not a play, but someone you can target in the Miami bullpen isn't great either. So like I said, I like the Mets. I've been playing them in GPP over the weekend, and they've done okay. So next game up is the Los Angeles Angels and the Texas Rangers. You have Jose Suarez and Dale Dunning. I think you can make a case for either one of these pitchers. Jose Suarez at 6'3", I think is going to be kind of popular, but recently, he's hovered around 5 innings, but had a couple of outings where he's only had like 3 innings. You're looking at about 4 Ks here, but he's given up 4 earned runs in his last 2. So I'd rather take Dane Dunning on the other side of this. He, again, he's not like a super great pitcher either, but he's been consistently going deeper into games. Has a little bit more K upside. He's usually around like 5 to 6 Ks. This Angels lineup. And the other thing too, I have to note is that MajorLeagueBaseball.com doesn't have Suarez as their official pitcher. This is what speculation is. Ohtani has been possibly rumored to take this, but I think they're going to wait a day on him. So if Ohtani is the pitching, then definitely he moves up to be probably the top pitcher on the slate. And then, of course, you can't play him as a batter. But just looking at this Angels lineup against Dunning, they don't super scare me too much. So I think this is GPP in cash. I'm again looking for McGill and Heaney, or maybe like Waka, but I don't think you really need to go down here. And I feel a little bit better about Flexon's stability against Tampa Bay than Dunning here. So I just don't think you really need to dabble in this range. But if you're trying to get like a full Yankee stack in with some other high-end bats, then you might need some of the guys down here. So either one of these guys in this game could be a punt that works out for you, but just keep in mind they also could get blown up. Next game is the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. Bryce Wilson, no thank you. Eric Lauer, 9K. I can't do it. Lauer's been a decent pitcher, but the Brewers, they're like getting into kind of like load management mode with their pitchers, trying to make sure that they've got a really solid bullpen. They've been trying to use those arms more. Their pitchers over the weekend, really since the trade deadline, haven't been playing as much. I think they're looking for a deep playoff run, so they're getting them out there kind of like spring training, keeping them pitching. Maybe, if they're in a good situation, they'll leave them out there a little bit longer, and Pittsburgh could be a good situation, but I'd rather look to another one of the Milwaukee pitchers here over Lauer. I think he's really only looking at 5 innings max. They did bring him out for a relief appearance a couple days ago against Pittsburgh, and he pitched 3 innings there, so that was kind of weird. But I think that I think he's going to be popular with the matchup. I don't think people are going to look too deep into him, but I have him as GPP only. Milwaukee has a really nice total here. Love the bats. I think they've been my second favorite stack behind the Yankees. Wong, Adames, Navarez, Escobar was a nice pickup for them. Tellis, Tyrone Taylor has been decent too. Averio Garcia is a little bit more expensive. He's been solid too recently. Even if you want to throw in like Jackie Bradley Jr., if you want to try and do like a wraparound stack thing, he definitely always has speed. A little inconsistent with the hitting, but once he gets on, like he can steal some bases. So next game up would be the San Francisco Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. You have Anthony DeSclafani up. I think he would be my second favorite pitcher. I know he had a rough outing against the Dodgers last time, but previous to that, he's been six innings, 8 innings, 7 innings. The Ks are there. You're looking at like 6 or 7 Ks. You're up against an Arizona team that Marte is not there anymore. Smith is injured. Oh, actually, Marte is there. Think about the other Marte got traded. But Escobar's not there anymore. But still, it's not a great lineup here. I think there are some strikeouts in here, so I think at 9.3, he's definitely fairly priced. Probably only looking at 15, maybe a ceiling of 20 DK points. They're pretty decent favorite. So love the Giants here too against Taylor Widener. Not really interested in him at 8K. I think he's very expensive. You're only looking at like maybe 4 innings max out of him, especially against this Giants offense. Pretty solid. So Giants, I don't know. Wade got banged up. He left the game with back spasms. So I don't know if he'll be leading off. So you might see Duggar move up there. You might see Dickerson move up there. So hopefully it's a cheaper left-handed bat, which would make the stack even better. Bryant's there now. Righty-righty matchup. I'm fine with that. Yastrzemski, Posey, righty-righty. I'm fine. Crawford's back in the lineup. So lots of great options there. Arizona on the other side, not really interested in any of the bats. If you want to take some one-offs and you're not playing DeSclafani as pitcher, I'm perfectly fine with that. So breaking it all down, high-end pitchers, McGill definitely a favorite. DeSclafani would be second, Lauer, GPP, but I'm worried that he's not going to go very deep. Medium range, there's only a couple that I really like. Heaney, definitely think he's going to be SP2. If you want to get off the chalk there and differentiate a little bit, Waka, who's had a couple solid outings recently against Seattle, is a good option there. And then for the low YOLO guys, Dunning, Flexing, and Jay Suarez, I think would be the ones that you could go for. I think Flexing is the most stable out of there, but Dunning has probably a little bit more upside, and Suarez has probably the better matchup. But any of them could have a make or break game there for you. So stacks, top stack is New York Yankees, second would be Milwaukee, San Francisco, and Tampa Bay. GPP, Philly, Angels, Mets, Texas, and then cheap ones, Seattle. And then if you want to go Baltimore, Washington, or Pittsburgh as contrarian stacks for $1, fine with that. So looking at the lineups here, I think the Yankees would definitely be the top stack. So I'm going to put Heaney and McGill in there. I'm probably going to punt catcher. Probably going to throw, I think there's a guy that was 2-3. So I think Raleigh for Seattle, their switch hitter. He's 2-2. So there's a couple guys that are 2 flat and 2-1 that might be in. But if you could put the guy in 2-2, it gives you a little bit of flexibility in case those guys aren't in there. So I'm putting in Rizzo, Gallo, and Judge definitely. Then I think I'm going to go Odor. I know he might be a little bit further in the lineup, but I like the lefty-righty matchup there. And then that leaves you open third base, shortstop, and another outfield spot. So if you want to complete the stack, go ahead. You just might have to punt 2 of the other places there. I think, Torres is the one I might go with at shortstop. And like I said, I liked Toro's a possibility for third base. And then you can do whatever you want to if you don't want to go a 5-man Yankees at shortstop in the other outfield spot. Next lineup that I really liked was the Milwaukee Brewers. So I take Heaney and McGill as my pitchers. Navarez is catcher, Wong, Escobar, Adames, and I think I throw Taylor in there. If you can get up to Garcia, that's fine. I know I didn't say Tellis. I'm okay if you play him there, but I'd rather play Rizzo at first base. And then that leaves you 2 outfield spots with you're going to be like somewhere in the low 2Ks, so you have to throw a couple punts out there. There are some decent guys that I've mentioned here that would fill in and finish off that stack, but it all depends. Maybe Milwaukee throws out another cheap bat that fits well in the lineup also. And then finally, if you're going with the Giants, Heaney, McGill, Posey at catcher, take Rizzo at first again, Bryant, Crawford, Yastrzemski, and then just you'd have to see if Wade's in there and you can get up to him. That's fine. I'm hoping for a cheaper leadoff guy that's a lefty, and then probably again we'll throw Toro in at second base unless Solano's like up there in the lineup. Then maybe I'll throw him in at second base, and outfield you can move Chris Bryant out there if you got a cheap third baseman that you want to throw out there too. So there's lots of ways to go for that. So that pretty much breaks down Monday's slate. Drop some comments below. Love interacting with you guys. Hit me up on Twitter at MegaLure31. Love all the new friendships I've developed through these videos, through that platform. So, just follow me, send me a message, and we'll try to get back to you, try to do what we can to help you out here. Subscribe to our channel, like our videos. That's what helps us out. And if we appreciate it, just share this with your friends, and hopefully, we can get more people watching and, help more people, because our goal is to keep you guys in the game. We want you to be able to enjoy DFS and play day after day and not just lose a bunch of money and get really frustrated and quit. It's a long game. We want you to help you grind away and continue to build your bankroll and be able to branch out and try other things, or maybe take a chance or so with some of the equity that you've built up your bankroll to go into some of the bigger contests and maybe eventually hit something that's really worthwhile. So be patient, continue grinding, and thanks for watching.